Well, hello, Bryan and Peter. This is Chelsea from Gorham, New Hampshire. It is July 7th, around 1 p.m. in the afternoon, and it's 91 degrees outside. You know, not the greatest time to go for an adventure jog or walk, but here I am, enjoying some local trails. You know, after a very busy 4th of July weekend on the summit of Mount Washington, working for the state park, we had some, pretty decent weather considering, how angry our mountain can be. It's about 36 degrees or so on Friday afternoon. Cold, chilly, wind chill in the 20s. But then we warmed up into the 40s and low 50s. And then the sun came out on Saturday and some of Sunday. So, hey, overall, not a bad weekend. I hope everyone enjoyed their 4th of July weekend. Had some good family time, some good barbecue food, all that stuff, soaking up the sun. And, on this run, I was really looking forward to opening my app and seeing a brand new episode there about your This Would Have Been Shorter Tomorrow Ultra. And guess what? I didn't find anything there. What the heck, guys? It's been a couple weeks. I know everyone's been probably pretty busy, but, we're missing you. We were looking forward to it. Saw some great pictures from that day. Looked awesome. So, can't wait to hear about it. Let's hurry this up so we can enjoy it, and I'll talk about it together. Great. Have a good one, guys. Bye.
Which way to the finish line? You can't get there from here. Strap on your pee bag. Wide Army. Running with scissors.
HWYRT.
HWYRT. HWYRT.
How come you're not running right now? No, seriously, grab some headphones and go for a run while you listen.
Come on, break.
And now, without further ado, here are Bryan and Peter.
Yeah, so Peter, we got called out by Chelsea, one of our longest standing listeners. We never gave a report on This Would Have Been Shorter Tomorrow Ultra Marathon because it was the 4th of July holiday. Give me a break. Your thoughts?
Hi, Bryan. Listen,
I feel as if we're coming at this with two different energy levels.
We have lives, and we couldn't do it, and it's awesome to get called out. It's fun. It was a great day. We had great weather, surprisingly good weather. You might say it was too hot.
Well, I was running.
This would have been shorter tomorrow, or for that matter, yesterday. But that don't matter, 'cause all we really have is this little here solstice day.
I have things to say.
I was in a car the chase car, or was I the advance car? I was both the chase and the advance.
You were the support. You were the support.
I brought the support. I brought the cold Coke. I brought the grapes. I brought the watermelon.
Oh, the watermelon.
None of which I bought, which is great for me.
It was amazing.
Yeah, I think you guys did really, really. Yeah, you say some things. I'll just listen. Go.
Well, I just want to set the scene. Colin came in from the X-Herbs, if you will, to my place. Will walked over to my place from down the street. I have something funny to tell you about Will when I get to it. You showed up at 5 a.m. and we drove into South Station, and we knew there would be one or two people meeting us there. We knew Professor Lollipop was going to be there.
Right. We knew
Michael
we
Goff.
might see an Emily Saul. Okay. Yeah.
No. You thought maybe we would see Emily Saul. I never had this.
That's because you lack faith in Saul movement.
Well, she never said she was going to come.
She didn't have to say it.
Emily saw movement.
So Emily runs up out of nowhere. Then an old NP friend of mine, Natasha, who splits her time between Boston and Montana, comes jogging up. I haven't seen her in like 2 years. That was the biggest surprise. Totally out of nowhere. That was awesome.
She came jogging up from Montana, like right across.
Well, no. So she said, well, I have to run an 18 today. And I forget how many miles she had run to get to South Station. And both Natasha and Emily were sweating heavily. And I was starting to get a little concerned because it was 5:45 or whatever time it was. And I'm thinking it wasn't unpleasant to be standing there, right? It was like a nice early summer day.
It was, what's the term? Humid as balls.
And they were sweating, and I thought, oh, this is going to be an interesting scene. And then, of course, Paul Davies came, Michael Goff came, even James McCabe came. And then right after we started, another NP runner, Mark, joined us.
Tall Mark.
And so, what can I say? It was fantastic. We ran the route. We took a bunch of pictures. By the time we got to the Paul Revere statue, everybody was feeling pretty warm, I have to say. And then I think everybody stayed with us down the Esplanade, through the gardens to the Esplanade. Michael Goff took off at that point. And I don't actually remember when people dropped. And here's the reason. We started at a pace that was faster than I had trained or expected to run. You were going too hot right out of the gate. It wasn't blistering, but it was moving right along. And I'm like, oh, I wonder if this is going to harm me later on. Of course it did.
Yeah, spoiler alert.
But we made it down the Esplanade. We made it, we took a stop, took a bunch of pictures. We got to Harvard Square, and we finally made it to Porter Square, where Louise came with an impromptu water stop. Every porta potty stop was not available until Harvard Square, so that was interesting. I had sort of scouted them out earlier, a month or so earlier. None of that came to pass, so we had to wait till Harvard Square for those of us who needed to use the restroom. But we solved that problem. And then right after Porter Square, we made the turn off to the bike path that goes to Alewife and then out. And just 2 miles after that, right around, I guess it was the half marathon mark, maybe it was mile 12, where we met with you again in Arlington at a coffee shop. Now, tell me what you saw when this band of weirdos came jogging down the bike path toward you.
So I leave you guys just past South Station. We do the arch. We take the pictures by the water. Goodbye, everybody. See ya. I go back to my car. I drive home. I make a cup of coffee. I sit on the couch. I pay some bills. I think to myself how much I'm enjoying not being on the run. I then get lost in some internet wormhole and then look at my watch and I figure, oh, I actually have to go because I have to be the first rest stop. So I shoot out the door and I arrive at that coffee shop off the bike path in Arlington. I don't know, 3 minutes before you show up, because I see Louise coming out of the coffee shop. And I said, Louise, is that you? And she goes, oh my God, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't know. I'm here as support. And she said, they should be here any second. And as she says it, you guys come up.
Oh my gosh, I didn't realize it was that tight. And is that the point when you said, hey, can you allow me to follow your iPhone? I think it might have been.
Yes, because I was just guessing at your pace, but I'd also lost all concept of time.
Well, it was really smart because it paid off later on because you were able to know exactly where we were.
Yeah, it came in real handy more towards the end, but yeah. And then because the stop we did was in Arlington, which is a perfectly lovely area, then what was the next one we did? Was it
well, the next one was Lexington.
Lexington.
And let me tell you, when we got to Arlington, We had already filled up our water bottles about a mile earlier.
Yeah.
So we were already drinking a lot because it was so humid. And we did stick with my schedule that is actually Emily's schedule that I didn't use at the Grand Canyon, but did use with Will in the entire training for this event, which was every 30 minutes, slow to a walk, take a gel, start back up again. And that worked pretty well.
So good.
But I was having a little bit of a hard time. I think I was just hot. And then between Arlington and Lexington, which I think was maybe mile 16 or 17,
Yeah.
that was my dark night of the soul during the solstice day. It was
Yeah,
rough.
and that's where I first started really tracking you. And when I got over to Lexington to the back of the train station. Is it train station? What is it? No, it's back of like the town center.
Yeah, it's the downtown. Yeah.
I got there in record time, and I had plenty of time before you guys were going to get there. So I started looking for yard sales, and I found one, and I went to it, and it was totally false advertising. They weren't there. I was totally mad. So then I got back to Lexington again. The traffic was incredible because, of course, it was the first nice Saturday in about, no exaggeration, 12 or 13 Saturdays.
I think it was the 14th, and it was the only nice one in 14 weeks. Yeah.
And people may not know this, but Lexington is a big place where, sort of the start of our nation in a very real way. And people are celebrating the 250th anniversary of 1775 when stuff started to throw down. So everybody and their brother-in-law was there for like tours and like historic readings and like walkarounds, not to mention Pride. It was just like, it's hard to move around here. So I got to the spot and parked the car. And then I looked again, and I don't want to say you were flat. I had enough time to clean my entire car with a rag.
Yeah, we were moving. Well, Colin, who was with us, who we hadn't run with before, but who has done several Millinockets and has run many other races, was moving right along. Like he kept separating, not on purpose, but he kept separating from us and then would have to, we'd come to a road crossing and he'd wait for Will and I. And I think Will was feeling bad for me and was just sticking by me. And he said, well, you stayed right with me. I said, yeah, because I took a mental harness and attached it to your back. And the only way I was keeping going was that mental harness attached to Will. And I don't think I said a single word during the entire rest stop in that parking lot in Lexington, except when I said, I'm going to go to the bathroom now and walked over to the restroom.
Yeah, you had very serious face. And I thought, okay, it's probably good that I'm going to be at every stop. And then you guys got on your way. And where did I see you next?
Everything clicked about a half mile later.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. Maybe I took in enough salt. Maybe just something happened. My body regulated and we moved right along. I was chatting up a storm. We were all running together. And we got to Bedford and you weren't even there. And you were like,
that's right. And here's why I wasn't there. So based on what I observed, I thought I had all the time in the world. So I went to a job lot and I did some shopping. And I bought you guys some pretzel bites, but I bought me some shelving to be used at toy shows and 2 big hanging potted plants from my house. And then you called me and you were like, hey, we're here. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'm in traffic. I was not in traffic. I was loading up my car with the plants and the shelving. And then as I pulled out, a giant Dunkin' Donuts delivery truck was stuck in the road trying to back up into a Dunkin' Donuts near the job lot. And that's why I was a little tardy getting to you guys in Bedford.
Well, it was no problem at all because it felt like it was 90 seconds. And we met up with you, and it was at that point when the cold watermelon really started to have an amazing effect.
Right. Because I did re-ice everything. That's true.
And everything was so cold.
Yeah.
And cutting up the watermelon the night before, putting it in Ziplocs and storing it in the refrigerator, and then having it in the cooler. That was just what the doctor ordered. And so I think we were all in pretty good spirits at that point when we were in Bedford. And I think that might have been mile 20 or something. And that really is that can be, as you know, that can be the beginning of the end.
I mean, it really was for me the time that we did the October Spice Ultra. That's where I sort of on the other side of that was like,
you started to fade.
This has been plenty. I'm good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we had a little of that, but it was more like, well, we know we're going to make it, I think. So we can just jog and walk and jog and walk. And our walk breaks became longer, but nobody was complaining. And I don't think anybody was really leading. It was just we'd slow for a walk and then we'd jog. And then we made it to Concord Center. And not Concord Center, but the Old North Bridge. And you were waiting there in the parking lot, which was great.
Yep.
And that was really fun. And then you made a fantastic decision, which was we were going to go across the bridge and the Old North Bridge, and then it was 6 miles back to my house. And you said, well, isn't there a place halfway where I could stop again? And we were like, maybe not. And then, yeah, maybe that's a good idea. And we figured out where you should stop. And that was fantastic. Splitting up those last 6 miles because it had gotten very hot.
It had gotten extremely hot. It was very hot for me in the car. And I thought there's no way you guys should go. I mean, if you were only doing 6, you were on fresh legs, everything was cool. Sure, you're fine. But you guys were deep. You were crossing over into real ultra territory. And I just thought it's not worth it. Let me just go up 3 more miles, stop off by one of those farms and give you that one more thing to look forward to.
Yeah, and it did. It made it you took it down to bite-sized chunks, 2 5Ks. And, it was lovely. We ran past Walton Pond. We were running through farms. It was great, but we were tired. And that was a huge boost, not to mention, I think we killed the watermelon at that point. So good. I don't even remember what else. I know we had other food and snacks and all kinds of stuff in there, and I'm sure we took advantage of it all, but I only remember the watermelon. And then...
we had, you guys had gherkins, I think. Something like that, right? Pickles?
Some people ate some pickles, I think. I didn't for some reason. My salt was fine. And then the funniest thing was, in the last 3 miles, we're coming down the mile straightaway, which is the street I live on. And we were kind of jog walking. And then we just said, well, come on, we only have a mile. Let's jog it down. And then we got a beep and my sister and nephew were driving past.
Oh, nice.
I'm so glad we were running because we had just walked like a half a mile.
Yeah, you want to look good. You want to look good.
Because there was a big hill, and we all said, well, we're walking that one. And then we started running, maybe 30 seconds before they showed up. So that was funny. And then we got to my house, and I think all of us felt pretty good.
Yeah, you guys look good. You looked good when I saw you. I had gone, after I saw you guys, I didn't want to be the first one there because I knew I'd have to do work. So I went to Savers instead, over in Framingham, and I walked around in Savers and bought some, stuff I don't need. And then I went to your house. And by the time I got to your house, you looked totally, you looked a little tired because you'd done a big thing, but everybody looked fine.
I love that bargain shopping was a significant part of your day in this.
Absolutely.
Let me play you this. This is Colin's review of the day, and I think it'll align very close to what we just said.
Let's do it.
Voice memo!
Hey, Bryan and Peter, it's Colin. It's Tuesday the 24th. I wanted to say thanks so much for organizing the inaugural This Would Have Been Shorter Tomorrow run this weekend. As I told several people, we didn't go very fast, but we covered a lot of ground. I'm very happy for the crew that assembled at South Station and ran with us for some or all of the way, and for you, Bryan, and Brewmaster Will for going all the way to the finish line. And I'm especially thankful for Peter's full-service support work, delivering water, Coke, salt, iced watermelon. It would have been a much harder day without all those pit stops. So after eating my fill at the post-run barbecue, I hobbled home. I napped for 2 hours, and I woke up and had second dinner. But I wasn't super sore Sunday or Monday, and as of this morning, I had a nice, easy run again. So I'm back to running, and I'll try to keep you posted on how my marathon training is going as September gets closer. Thanks again.
Well, hello there, friend.
Hello.
That's
so there we
lovely.
go, Peter. You were the star of the show.
Well, I don't know about that, but it was very nice to meet Colin, and it was certainly interesting to see you guys at about 10 of 5 in the morning, and then watch you progress throughout the day in little snippets. And yeah, he was definitely a good ultra runner, and I was just glad to be a part of it because I was feeling a little bit like, oh, I'm not going to really be able to do anything. So I definitely feel, and I would say that in the future, when I'm sort of back to where I want to be and I'm actually participating, having someone do that job for real, like as a dedicated thing, is really important. Like just mentally, I would think, right? Like I know for me, I felt better about your safety and all that stuff, but also I would think it's just more, puts you more at ease as someone who's conducting the actual run.
Oh, absolutely. And because it was so much warmer than any of us had trained in, it, we didn't really know what to expect. I mean, obviously all of us have run in warm weather before, but not for the first time this year.
Right.
And yeah, it was great. And you helped keep our spirits up, and I'm sure supplied us with much needed nutrition. But really, it was just knowing that you were going to be there every, whatever it was, 5 miles or 6 miles, was just a really good, wonderful part of the day. And of course, thanks to Louise and everybody else who came out, both to run and to support. It was really fun. Will I do it again? I don't know. Maybe not in June. Maybe not in the end of June.
Here's what I'll say about it. I don't think it's as meditative or as centering as the winter solstice run. There's something more magical about that one. It's, a lot less time not really. I mean, it's actually more time than what you would run on, but it's different time. Do you know what I mean? It's different.
Well, we're really covering ground, whereas on the winter solstice, it's just movement.
Right. It's very monotonous, but it's supposed to be. So what I want to transition to here, and I don't know if this is the time or the place to do so, but I want to announce.
Wait. Before you make this announcement, can I tell you the funny thing about Will?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Well, he asked me about something, and I said, well, did you get a bucket hat yet? He said, huh? And I'm like, well, surprise, I got you a bucket hat. And then he said, actually, I haven't listened to any new episodes yet. He said, I'm storing them all up for a trip or something so I can listen to them all in one big bunch, and then I'll listen to the review of this run
that's so great.
At that point. And I started thinking about it. I'm like, well, how does he know about this race? Like, well, of course, because he lives down the street from me, and we started doing these Monday morning miles. I don't know when that was, back in this early spring, late winter. And that was even before we thought up this run. So he's only heard it from me while we're doing these Monday morning miles and not from listening to the show. So at some point he'll get the whole germ of the idea and how we batted it around and all of that. So he was not only a completionist, but he'll hear about it for the first time when he finally gets around to listening to all those episodes.
It's a little memento, right? He's living it backwards in some way.
That's right.
Not to be confused with a voice memento.
Voice bubble.
Which is different. So I just want to take this time to announce that I plan to participate hardcore in this year's winter solstice. And I'm on the road to Wellville. I'm really feeling strong. I'm feeling good. I'm getting back out there. I made the mental switch. The switch is thrown. And honestly, I think the summer solstice was a big part of that.
You think just, providing support and watching it happen. Looking at us, certainly looking at me, you're like, well, if he can do it, anybody can do it.
No, that's not what I mean.
But I know what you mean. Sometimes it takes that. I don't know what it takes. It takes something to say, all right, I'm gonna buckle down and do it. So what does this mean? What are you doing? What Well, I don't even know what you're talking about, Peter. I mean,
Bryan,
I'm
if I could
excited.
ask you to go into the vault and please dust off the audio file called Clyde Army Countdown. Now, unlike the last time we did this, which only about 6 people probably remember, I'm not necessarily going to do a countdown week by week by week. Just know that right now, in these next 6 months, which are now even less than 6 months, it's 5 months and a half, I will be reducing my scope, my girth, my magnitude, my gravitational force to a certain degree that when I do participate on the shortest day of the year, which will be the longest day of my life, I'm not carrying as much meat and potatoes. I'm going to lighten the load, going to drop some rocks out of the old flesh backpack, if you get what I'm saying. Yes, I'm really doing it. And you can attest to how serious I am about this. What did you witness just yesterday?
Well, there have been inklings over the last week because I saw you put up the hand and say, I'd love to have that high caloric beer, but I'm not going to have it right now. And then you said, I don't need to eat that donut that you're offering me. And then you said, I don't need the bread with this thing. I'm just going to eat this other healthy choice. So by themselves, not much. Collectively, over the span of just about a week or 10 days, I have noticed a difference about what you are putting in your mouth. Is there anything else going on?
What did you see me do yesterday at breakfast?
I saw, I forgot about this one. You had a spinach-based smoothie. That's all I have to say.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of stem. I had a lot of stem in there.
It was chewy.
It was definitely gritty, but it was flavorful and fine. It had a little banana and apple in there. I needed something without the fruit juice because the fruit juice is too sugary. Yeah, no, man, I'm just trying to change it up. Just came back from the gym. When you scan into our gym and they tell you how many days, well, they don't tell you. You can ask, hey, when's the last time my badge got scanned?
Mm-hmm.
You want to guess the number of days?
60.
That would be awesome.
90?
That would be awesome. It was 123 days.
Oh, that's many months.
That's like a third of a year. I was like, I don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
But this is that mental switch I'm talking about, because sometimes it really does go into the off position.
Yeah.
And even the guy who was checking me in was like, it happens. I said, yeah, it does, but I'm back. And the answer is just keep coming back, right? Like, just keep doing it. Just do it. Like, you don't have to do it all now. Just do it. Just do it.
Well, I kind of had the opposite where because I was training for this run, my miles were going up. I haven't been back to Harvard Stadium in months because I wasn't recovering fast enough from the other activities I was doing, and it just would have ground me down, and I needed to sleep later and all that stuff. And then also my gym going, which, you're supposed to maintain, but, my body was just tired, and I could do whatever body weight stuff I wanted to do without having to go to the gym. So, and I was trying to sleep as late as possible, as often as possible, to be perfectly honest. But now I also will be back because, training for long distance is there's a trade-off. You can't keep doing everything you do normally.
That's right. That's right. And, certainly in my case, whatever speed that I ever had is long since gone. That's not what I will do now. Now it's about how do I run efficiently? How do I run healthy with no injury? So like today, for example, was a lot of whole body resistance training. And that's the kind of stuff I need to do. And I just need to be more regular about it. I got to be careful. Shutting the beer off Yeah, there's been a significant decline in my bloating and in my, what is that feeling you have when everything hurts?
Inflammation,
Yeah,
um,
that's the word.
feeling everything you've ever done in your life all at once.
Yeah, the inflammation is way down.
Sure.
And I do attribute that to one, I'm not eating a ton of junk, but two, like, drinking beer, which I wasn't doing too much of, but I was having it every night, which may be too much. I mean, I think that might be too much. Now, that's not to say I'm not going to imbibe other things. I might have a little gin here or a little whiskey there, but I think the carbonation of the beer for right now is not my answer. Check in again with me in the fall. Like the minute it gets crisp in the air, it's going to be hard not to. And that's always the case. But summer is a good time for me to start getting on the road to well. I can up the amount of fruit because there's more available. Salads are super easy. In general, I don't want to eat as much anyway because it's hot. So it's a good time to sort of jumpstart it.
Well, that's fantastic. It's sort of whenever it happens is the right time. And you know what you're just in time for to prep for.
Oh, I'm like Gelogingist.
You're pre-Chaugusting.
I'm pre-Chaugusting. I'm on a pre-Chaugust deep hit so that I can walk into August 1st and Chaugust challenge the crud out of it. So I'm excited. Just dust it off. Can you just play the Chaugust? It's never too early to hear it.
Let's do it.
Necessarily every day. Challenge, 31 days. Challenge. The main thing is go participate. Love what you do. Do what you love. Love what you do. Do what you
So yeah, I'm excited for 31 days of Chaugust. I'm excited for every day up until the winter solstice, and then I'm excited to start going the other way. Like it's all good. Like all days are good, all months are good. It's all good. I mean,
Well,
February is not so great. Let's not be February's pretty rough.
It's so
But
funny.
let's not get there. We're not there yet.
When Will and I ran on this Monday, it was very warm early in the morning, and I turned to him and said, "Have we ever run on a day that's not as hot as this?" We chuckled, of course, because 99% of our training runs were absolutely freezing and raining or snowing. And it's so funny. Our bandwidth for comfort as humans is so narrow in terms of temperature and humidity.
And it's been especially uncomfortable. It's not, there's a real thing happening right now. I think most of this month, especially, will be. It's just even if the temperature comes down
July,
a little bit,
for crying out loud.
it should be. It should be. But I'm saying like it's going to be. I'm thankful we're coming into sort of a rainy period because at least the temperatures will stay in the mid 70s as opposed to the high 80s, low 90s. Like it's fine, but it is humid.
It's humid.
That I think is not going to break for a while.
Yeah, but my point was going to be this: is that it is funny that we're always either enjoying or complaining about the weather, but the warmer weather does have the benefit of I don't have to think about what I'm putting on, and my body feels ready to go right away. I am feeling, when it's colder, there is warm up, and then there is all this consideration about layers and like,
oh yeah,
how many layers?
Even going to the gym just now, I literally walked out with sneakers, shorts, and a shirt and a water bottle. I went to the gym, which is, again, you could basically say it's in my house, and I didn't have to think about a coat. I didn't have to think about where am I going to put my pants. I didn't have to think about changing shoes. Like none of that. Again, I have such respect for people who go and swim every single day.
Right.
That's some rigmarole.
Yeah. So let's enjoy it while we have it. And Chaugust is right around the corner, so we'll prep people for that, for what we're thinking about doing, what everybody else is thinking about doing. Peter, a little housekeeping.
Oh, let's do it.
Fanfare, please. We've hit 100 subscribers on YouTube.
Wait, listen, I never thought this day would come.
Me neither.
I want to thank all 100 people. I'm not even sure I'm one of them. So I have to check that. And yeah, I don't want to be crazy. I don't want to be nuts. But could we ask the people who have not subscribed to just give it a little go? Help us get to, dare I say, 200 by the end of the year. Is that too far?
I think that's the goal. 200.
200 before the solstice?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Could we get to 200? Could we double that number?
Yeah, just ask a friend. That's all.
Everybody goes on the YouTube these days. And you subscribe to all kinds of things. I'm subscribed to an Australian service that teaches me how to tie my ties.
That's fantastic. I'm glad you subscribed.
I had to subscribe, yeah. Oh, not to us. No, I have to. Yeah, no. And I'm going to just say it, because if I don't say it, I'm going to get in trouble. The website's coming. I verbaled it. There it is. It's coming. This is where Dave perks up when he listens to this one, and he'll be like, is it? Because you guys haven't sent me Bupkis.
Okay, I have a file with images.
Stop it.
And things that I can share with Dave.
Could you do it?
I can do it.
I don't know how hard this is. We should just do it. We should just how about we make a promise to ourselves?
Why don't we be grown-ups?
Part of our Chagas challenge is to bring back the website in full and offer some fun content over on jackhammerjohnson.com. That's jackhammerjohnson.com.
Yeehaw.
Bryan, great job. You were on vacation. That's why this was delayed. I love being publicly shamed by our listeners. I'm going away on a little
that was called encouragement. Also shaming.
Yeah, encourage shame. Shame encouragement. Chagas challenge. I'm going away, of course, for a little vacation myself, so we had to tuck this one in. And then I think starting next week, we got to just get back at this. We got to just start just turning. Oh gosh.
Well, now that you're back on
I'm in
schedule, you're going to need these shows to keep you honest and moving forward.
Yeah, because people want the Clyde Army Countdown check-in, and I want to give it to them.
Also, Chelsea needs to hear us when she's sitting on a July evening on the top of Mount Washington, and it's 21 degrees, and our voices are there to keep her company.
My gosh. Please, that's our job. This is our job. This is what it's a calling. It's more than a job.
And eventually, Brewmaster will hear these shows. Almost too funny to
Do
believe.
you think by the time we get to the winter solstice, he'll have heard? I think he will have.
Will have.
Will travel. Goodbye.
All right, Peter, thanks to you, thanks to Will, thanks to Colin, and thanks to everybody who came out for This Would Have Been Shorter Tomorrow Ultra.
It was so great. Another one for the record books.
This would have been shorter tomorrow, or for that